This is the Business Owners IT Podcast with Anthony Gerasch and Ryan Carter, where tomorrow's technology meets today's conversations.
Hi, I'm Nick Gerasch.
And I'm Ryan Carter, and this is the Business Owners IT Podcast.
A podcast where we discuss tips, tricks, and solutions for business owners involving all things tech.
You made your way through it, Nick, and guess what? I got you on an episode that you didn't think you were going to be on. So we are going to record something today.
Oh, no.
But this is going to be in your wheelhouse, all right? So don't worry. We're going to talk a little bit about AI agents. We talk about a lot with your dad, stuff like that. So if anybody knows, this is the Nick that Tony talks about all the time. You know, the one that he won't let on his networks. Yeah, hit that button. Hit that button. The Nick. Yeah, they're doing. There it goes. We're having a good time with that. All right. So one of the things that has been brought up in the news lately is, you know, businesses are grabbing onto AI. They're bringing it. They're doing everything they can to expand their business in AI, but they're having problems and growing pains and just early adoption stuff. And I know you've been working with some of our clients. What are some of the things that you have seen in AI that have maybe been a growing pain for a client that they didn't quite think was going to happen when they signed up for the AI train?
Well, I think everybody thinks it's kind of just like magic, that it's going to do whatever you tell it to do, and like it can just access all the information that you have, and that it'll just pull it all and make whatever you want.
That was for sure me. I came home in June, didn't I? And I'm just like, I wanted to do all this fun stuff, and I just started railing it off to you, and then what happens?
Well, then you figure out that there's a lot more behind the scenes that you have to do. You have to, you know, teach it what you want it to do and where to find the information that you want it to use.
Yeah, so in the end, it's like you actually kind of have to have an idea of what you want that agent to do, right?
Yeah.
And if I had that clear picture of what I wanted that agent to do, in your experience, how much of that is actually generative AI from some of the projects we've been working on?
Well, a lot of stuff like filling out documents and stuff isn't necessarily AI. It's just automation, right? So like if we're filling out, you know, forms for a company and it's filling out, you know, who their clients are and stuff, it's not really AI. It's, you know, we're just going to pull the information directly from, you know, their CRM or whatever, wherever they store the information.
And then what would be, if you're going to fill out maybe a statement of work, what would be the AI piece maybe that you would generate, you know, put into that statement of work?
Well, the generative piece would be like the actual work that you're going to be doing. So like laying out like a summary of the job that you're going to be doing, or a summary of, really it's really good at summarizing what you're going to do. So like if you provide it meeting notes from a meeting you had about the project, and you say, you know, create me, you know, like a timeline for this project of the different phases and what has to be done, you know, it's good at looking at those meeting notes and taking out the key points, and, you know, it can generate that list of items that you had to do, and then you can edit it from there.
Okay, so when you're automating, you're usually using, like, say, a meeting, and it's using those meeting notes to go out into their CRM, so using some type of automation to find that customer or find that information and bring it back. But then it's using the generative AI piece to make it pretty and look good, and take your notes and make it into that statement of work based on other statement of works that you've done. So is there a generative piece there based on the old statement of works?
Yeah, if you have similar statement of works, it could look at, you know, how stuff is worded, or, you know, say a project's very similar, it can look at the previous statement of work and then say, you know, I'm going to base the work that's going to be done for this project off that one, you know, use it as knowledge, and, you know, provide a similar outline.
Okay. So for our business owners out there that were thinking about maybe doing this automation, one thing we've learned is that it just doesn't work like we thought it would, right? Yeah. But one thing I do, and I take away from like the generative AI, like using ChatGPT or Copilot or something like that, is that I can ask it questions and get the answers back that I'm looking for to maybe help me figure out what I'm looking to do for my company, right? That might be a great place to start using AI, is to talk about like, oh, what do I want to do? I actually printed out a bazillion examples of different ways companies have used AI. And I'm going to take maybe one or two of them and throw them your way, and kind of just take us through the process as a programmer, what you would do to make that work for the client, just to kind of give an idea to our prospective clients or ones out there that are thinking about doing these type of things. So let's just say I am think there was a good one back here. You know what? Law firms, these are good ones because they're always working with documents, right? If I wanted to just take and review and summarize contracts to maybe speed up like my intake from customers, like what they're telling me to do, and then create a new contract for them to give to, you know what I mean, like a business sale or something like that. What would be your thought process, or what would you take the customer through on that journey to create that agent for them?
So going from a contract to like summarizing for another contract?
Yeah, or like going from like no contract. So I called you, you say you're the attorney, and I called you and I'm like, hey, I need to sell my house. You know what I mean? And I've got a prospective buyer. Can you get me a contract written up for that so it's bulletproof and I don't get sued and everyone's happy in the end, that type of deal.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of that, the best thing to do is stay, fill out what you have and not use as much generative AI. So like when you get that call and stuff, most people will take the information and put it into, some kind of software that keeps track of it all, like a CRM or something. And usually, like, say the house sale example, usually you'll have a template of what is like the normal for a contract for a house. So the easiest thing to do is more automate the filling out the information. So, there's going to be general information like the address, the person's name, phone number, like contact info. That can all just be, automated, and it would just fill out the template, populate all the stuff for you. And then for, if there's a generative piece in there, just using previous contracts as knowledge to generate whatever needs to be generated. I don't know, for that example, using it would be more just filling out the template, I think, for a legal document. It'd just be, say they have to fill in their name at 40 spots on the legal document. The AI could, just do that automatically. It would just be a template, and it would just, grab the name from the CRM and fill it out in all 40 spots. And then you don't have any mistakes on, oh, they forgot to put the name here, or, you have like a bracketed insert name here in your legal document instead of the actual name.
Okay.
You're not going to have that error because it's, programmed to fill out all those spots.
Okay. So now your law firm just created that document, that contract, sent it over to me, which I'm not going to just sign it. I'm going to give it to my attorney. What is maybe a thought process that we could do with that attorney that's receiving that contract to help them speed up the process? Because, I've gone through business sales and stuff like that. And when I do that, the time with the attorney takes forever. You know what I mean? Like, they're not working on it 24/7 because they got other clients. What could we maybe do in an automation or generative AI piece to help them speed up the process of reviewing that contract and getting it back to me?
Well, I mean, you could offer summaries. I'm not sure. Obviously, with legal documents, it's a little bit different, but
Right.
You could provide summaries of a document, or I'm not too sure like how you would provide it to them.
Yeah, I think once they got the contract, right, they would want to probably dump it into Copilot, have it review it and send back maybe summaries, or would there be a way for me to look at old contracts to see if this goes against that contract? You know what I mean? If there's any like gotchas that maybe they're trying to get on me that I don't know about, that I need to, fix and send back to them so that I don't get screwed over in the deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I mean, when you intake it, you could, obviously, when it comes in, we could sort it and save it somewhere, that it's a new contract waiting review or something. And then, you might be able to also, notify the person on Teams that it came in. And then also, you can also compare it to other contracts if you wanted to see if there's any contracts that are similar to that one or, conflicting with that one. Yeah.
Okay. All good stuff. I know we're not going to use a ton of time here, but I did make this long document, so I'm just going to read off some stuff so that John can make a really sweet reel real quick. So if you are a small business and you're looking to use generative AI as ways to help your business, the first thing I always think, and this would probably be my tip of the week, is that you're not trying to automate someone's job away. You're trying to make their job easier so that they can do smarter things for you later. Because just like Nick said, generative AI isn't there where it's just going to always do it. You need someone smart to actually feed that AI to get that work done for you and come up with those ideas. So if you can take that generating contracts away from them and then just have them review the contract, be done with it, and move on to the next thing, then you're utilizing those smart people for what they need to be. So here we go. If you're a law firm, you can use AI to review and summarize contracts, auto-generate first draft legal documents, manage case timelines, conduct e-discovery, analyze opposing counsel patterns. Ooh, that's a good one.
That is like managing timelines.
Yeah.
You know, if there's deadlines and stuff in the contract, they can read that and, you know, put it on your calendar as a deadline for you. So, I mean, I've had with some of the stuff we've been doing, I've had where I put, you know, in plain text messages, I'll put date or I'll put like, you know, I did this yesterday, and the AI can look at it and say, okay, this is when, you know, the point in time he's talking about. So like managing deadlines is a use case where, you know, if a contract's more urgent and has a deadline, then the AI could look through it and look for deadlines and then notify you if it's more urgent.
Yeah, put it on you, other case attorneys' calendars, your paralegals, everybody's calendar, and then it's ready to go. Actually, that's a pretty good one. Other things we could do, accounting firms, you can automate bank reconciliation, drafting financial statements, expense categorization from receipts, forecasting cash flow, and preparing initial drafts of tax forms. Marketing agencies, you could generate creative briefs, draft emails, landing pages, and social content, produce image variations, analyze campaign performance, build first-class storyboards. Construction companies, you could forecast materials. Yeah, right. They're going to screw you either way. You know that, construction companies. You could analyze bids, generate job safety briefings, and identify risk, and automate documentation. I can go on and on and on. Please hit us up with a comment, and I'll give you all of these awesome things to do with AI. One thing, we're going to circle back to the beginning, is that you know, we need to start with clear-cut use cases, right?
Yeah.
It's not something that we just throw out there and we just hope for the best. Like we just put all our stuff in there and all of a sudden it works, because we tried to do that with our auto task, right?
Yeah.
And it just puked back at us. I mean, it worked a little bit, but we just never got it to generalize anything. Like it just never learned us the way it should. So you got to teach it what it needs to learn. So
I think a lot of use cases too is, you know, find a task that's repetitive that somebody's doing. Like we have clients where they're checking people's time entries, right? Mm-hmm. For grammar errors or just errors in general in their time entries. The AI could look through it and look for grammar mistakes and then propose a change to people instead of having somebody sit there for, you know, a whole week reviewing everybody's time entries. The AI could just, you know, look through all the time entries, look for grammar mistakes, and then fix them for you.
there we go.
So
we want to start with something we can automate easily.
Yeah.
Nick, thank you so much for coming. I kind of, you know, how do I want to say, jinxed you into doing that? No, I tricked you into doing this. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Nick, hit it again. One more time. There it is. All right. Hey, thanks a lot, man. Yeah, have a good one. And we're out.
Unique Computing Solutions. Your IT challenges solved.